Okay, let me read this question first. A prismatic cantilever pre-stressed concrete beam of span length L equal to 1.5 meters. My dear, I would like to write the given data simultaneously. Okay, what is given here? Given data. Okay, span of the beam given that 1.5 meters, right? Its continuation has one straight tendon placed in the cross section as shown in the following figure, not to scale. My dear, it is a tendon. It is a straight tendon provided in a cantilever beam, right? At the top fiber it is provided. Okay, fine. The total pre-stressing force of 50 kilonewton in the tendon. How much is the pre-stressing force introducing in the tendon? It is a 50 kilonewton. Let us write pre-stressing force, initial pre-stressing force P naught. It is, my dear, 50 kilonewton. Then its continuation. Yeah. In the tendon is applied at DC 50 mm from the top in the cross section, my dear. You can see this is the cross section of the beam at section XX, where they are keeping this tendon from top fiber at a distance 50 mm. From top fiber, this is the top fiber, from top fiber at a distance 50 mm. Okay. Say it is DC, my dear, 50 mm. Okay. Width given 200 mm and depth given 300 mm. Notation they have given small d. You can take the same notation here also, not a problem. Okay, right. Generally, we are going to use the notation capital D for overall depth of the beam. But in this question, they have given notation small d. Let us use as it is. Width of the beam, my dear, 200 mm, whereas depth of the beam is 300 mm. Yes, then it is the figure given, my dear, cantilever beam, and it is subjected to a concentrated load P, and taken one section and drawn here the cross section of the beam, right? In that, given width of the beam B and overall depth of the beam D, and the distance to the centroid of tendon will be DE, right? Or DE or DC, not a problem. If the concentrated load P equal to 5 kilonewton, my dear, how much is the concentrated load applying on a cantilever beam? 5 kilonewton, right? It is 5 kilonewton. Concentrated load P equal to 5 kilonewton. Okay, here small clarity is missing in the question, my dear. Let us focus here. Simply it is given concentrated load. Instead of concentrated load, if it is given total concentrated load, at that time easily we understand that it is including self weight of the beam, right? Otherwise, they have to mention after 5 kilonewton within the brackets including self weight of the beam. Otherwise, they have to mention self weight of the beam is not neglected. This word is missing in the question. Since it is not mentioned anything, so we have to take self weight of the beam also. Got it? Right. Okay. P equal to 5 kilonewton. The resultant stress in megapascal in integer experienced at a point Q will be Do you identify where is that point Q? The point Q will be here. Top fiber. A top fiber, that too at a fixed support. Right? Resultant stress. My dear, it means you need to consider the effect of pre-stressing force and also the effect of self weight of the beam, and also you need to consider the effect of live load. All the effects you need to consider. Okay, right. Come on, this is given data. Now we have to find out stress. We have to find out stress at Q, that is at top fiber, resultant stress we want. Then how do we find? Let us see the solution. Solution. See, it is the solution. Firstly, we have to find out eccentricity to the tendon. My dear, eccentricity equal to, how do you get this? Half of the overall depth minus whatever the distance given from the top fiber. If you take the difference of these two, you will get eccentricity. My dear, it is 300 mm by 2 minus 50. So, it is 150 minus 50, you will get 100 mm. So, eccentricity to the tendon from CG will be 100 mm. Okay, next one. Let us find out self weight of the beam. Self weight of the beam. WD is equal to gamma into B into D, where gamma is the unit weight of a pre-stressed concrete. Suppose if it is given in the question 25 or 24, then we can take whatever given. If it is not given in the question, that is in the absence of data, we can take gamma value for pre-stressed concrete is 24 kilonewton per cubic meter into, my dear, what is the width of the beam? 200 mm. Let us write in meters. 0.2. What is the depth of the beam? Here capital D I wrote, my dear, which is equal to small d in the given question. Okay, right. That is 300 mm. Write in meters. Then simplify and tell me what is this value. 24 into 0.2 into 0.3. I am getting 1.44 kilonewton per meter. Self weight of the beam will act like a UDL, uniformly distributed load. Okay, right. Point number 2, my dear, that is moment due to self weight. Moment due to self weight. Moment due to self weight, that is MD. Moment due to self weight. UDL na? So, cantilever beam subjected to UDL. What is the moment? WD into L square upon 2. Right? Yes, correct. Now, what is the self weight? 1.44 into what is the span of the beam? It is 1.5 meters. Check it once. Span of the beam. Yes, 1.5 meters. Square upon 2. My dear, simplify. 1.44 into 1.5 square upon 2. I am getting 1.62. 1.62 kilonewton meter. Okay. Then what is the moment due to? What is the moment due to live load? Due to live load, or you can say concentrated load, or you can say it is due to P. concentrated load, na? Then what will be the moment? Let us say it is ML. It is P into L simply, that is all, right? Moment P into L only. Yes, where P is given that it is 1.5, wait a minute, 5 kilonewton, I am sorry, it is 5 into 1.5, how much is it? 7.5 kilonewton meter, 7.5 kilonewton meter, okay. Now we know everything here, so easily we can calculate resultant stress at point Q. Before that, let me give the sign convention. The sign convention I follow, is compression positive, compression is positive, tension is negative, tension is negative, okay, right. Then sagging positive, that means sagging positive and hogging negative, right? Okay, this is the sign convention I follow. We want resultant stress at point Q. Resultant stress at point Q. My dear, that is FQ. Due to pre-stressing force, we will see first, okay. Due to pre-stressing force, it is P by A. Then due to, my dear, eccentricity, also moment will develop, that one will be PE upon Z, right. And due to self weight of the beam, say it is MD upon Z. Due to live load, moment will develop, so bending stress will be ML upon Z, okay. Here pre-stressing force is the compressive force, so compressive force upon area will give compressive stress. Obviously, we are going to take here, my dear, it is positive, first one is positive. Coming to the next one, PE upon Z, where is tenon provided? Where is tenon provided? My dear, it is in the region of tension zone, correct or not? It is in the region of tension zone. So, you must take sign convention based on this, if you don't mind, rough sketch. Here is the tenon, here is the tenon, and this is the eccentricity. This is the eccentricity, and pre-stressing force is applied exactly at this location. My dear, then what is the sign you are going to take in this region? Definitely it is compression, right? Yes, so compression is positive, right? And what will be the sign due to self weight? My dear, self weight of the beam is going to create a hogging curvature, hogging. So, at top fiber in a hogging curvature, my dear, it is negative. Even you can take live load, my dear, live load also produced, my dear, hogging curvature. At top fiber in a hogging curvature, tension will develop. I would like to give hogging curvature, how it will be. See here, this is hogging curvature. At top fiber I am asking, it is a tension, correct or not? So, for tension we are going to take negative sign. Coming to this tenon, it is going to create sagging curvature. We want at a top fiber, so top fiber is compression, bottom fiber is tension. Due to this pre-stressing tendon, my dear, the curvature of the beam will be sagging in nature, right? Coming to the self weight as well as external load will create hogging curvature, right? So, at the top fiber, which nature of stress will develop? Tensile. For tension, I have taken negative, negative, and for compression, I have taken positive. Is it clear? Very simple, ma. Where P by A, P is given that it is 50 kilonewton. Better I can write notation P naught. Otherwise, you will confuse. Already I have used P as a concentrated load. That's why I am writing here P naught. 50 kilonewton, you can write down it is 50 into 10 cubed upon area 200 into 300 plus PE, P naught into E upon Z, that is 50 into 10 cube into eccentricity 100 upon Z is, it is a rectangular cross section. So, section modulus will be 1 by 6 into BD square minus MD upon Z. My dear, what is the MD here? Can you tell me the MD? Moment due to self weight. We are getting something. 1.44 is, no, 1.62. 1.62 into 10 to the power of 6 upon 1 by 6 into BD square. 200 into 300 square minus what will be the moment due to live load? It is 7.5. So, 7.5 into 10 to the power of 6 upon Z is 1 by 6 into BD square, 200 into 300 square. Got it? Okay. My dear, let us simplify this. Let us simplify this. What we are going to get? 50 into 10 cubed divided by 200 into 300. I am getting 0.83. 0.83 plus what is this value? 50 into 1000 into 100 into 6 divided by 200 into 300 square. So, 1.67 minus 1.62 into 10 to the power of 6 into 6 divided by 200 into 300 square. It is 0.54. 0.54 minus 7.5 into 10 to the power of 6 into 6. Okay. If you simplify this, you are getting 2.5. 2.5. My dear, how much is the answer? Resultant stress we want. It is 2.5, wait, 0.83 plus 1.67 minus 0.54 minus 2.5. So, we are going to get minus 0.54 Newton per mm square. They are asking integer. So, round figure you can take it as minus 1 Newton per mm square. What is the meaning of minus 1? Minus 1 indicates that the pre-stressing given to the tendon is not sufficient to balance the external loading. That is why still tension is developing. Okay, this is the answer, right? Minus 1. My dear, suppose in the question, if it is mentioned that total concentrated load or self weight is not neglected or including self weight, if this wording is given, at that time the answer will be different. What is that? I will give you. Even that answer also I will give you. Note, in a question, if given that total concentrated load or including self-weight or self-weight is neglected. Suppose if it is given in the question like this, at that time, my dear, answer will be different. Then what will be the answer? Resultant stress Q, that is P by A P naught plus P naught into E upon Z minus ML upon Z, where MD will be not there, right? You have to take only ML if self-weight is neglected, or if it is given total, at that time instead of ML you can write simply M. Okay, then what is the answer? P naught, wait, previously, yeah, 0.83 plus 0.83 plus 1.67 minus 2.5. It is 0. Answer is 0. Answer is 0. When it is possible, if something wording given in the question like this, otherwise we have to get the answer minus 1 Newton per mm square. Okay? Okay, we'll see next question. Gypsum is typically added in cement too. Why gypsum is added to cement? See here options given, 4 options. What are those options? Option A, increase workability. Option B, prevent quick setting. Option C, enhance hardening. Option D, decrease heat of hydration. These are the options given. My dear, gypsum is added to the cement clinker at the end of grinding, which is added to avoid flash set. Here flash set means quick setting. To avoid quick setting, we are going to add the gypsum. Coming to its quantity, my dear, it is a 2 to 3% by weight of cement. We are going to add gypsum to the cement clinker is a 2 to 3% by weight of cement. Okay, let us see. Gypsum is added to clinker at the end of grinding, which is to avoid flash set, that is quick setting. Gypsum added to clinker is 2 to 3% by weight of cement. Now, which option is correct? Option B is correct. Among the given options, option B is correct. Okay, let me read the question first. A combined trapezoidal footing of length L. It is a combined trapezoidal footing. Its length be the L. Supports two identical square columns P1 and P2. See my dear, it is one column, it is another column. Okay, it is P1 and it is P2. Clear? Right. Of a size 0.5 meter by 0.5 meter as shown in the figure. Here the column dimension given, it is a square column, its side will be 0.5 meter. Okay, as shown in the figure. The columns P1 and P2 carry loads of 2000 kilonewton and 1500 kilonewton. See, P1 equal to 2000 kilonewton, whereas P2 equal to 1500 kilonewton respectively. And this is the sketch given, my dear. Okay, from center of P2 column to center of P1 column is 5 meters and width of a trapezoidal footing at one side is 5 meters and it is gradually reduced to 1.5 meter at other side. Okay, this is the figure given in the question itself. If the stress beneath the footing is uniform, my dear, one condition is given in the question. What is that? Maintain uniform stress below the footing, right? The soil pressure must be uniform below the footing, right? It is the condition given in the question. If the stress beneath the footing is uniform. Okay. The length of the combined footing L in meters round off to 2 decimal places is a dash. My dear, fill in the blank type question. Here, we have to find out length of the footing. One condition is given here, that is stress in the soil or soil pressure below the footing must be uniform. For that, my dear, what is the condition to be satisfied? If you know that single point, easily you will get the answer, right? Okay, very simple. In order to maintain uniform soil pressure beneath the footing, the CG of loadings and the CG of footing must be coincided. Is it clear? Okay, let us see the solution. In order to keep uniform stress in soil below the footing or beneath the footing, what to do for this case? The CG of loading must be equal to CG of the footing, right? The CG, center of gravity, of loadings and CG of footing must be coincided. Okay, this is the condition, right? Okay, my dear. Initially, we will find out CG of loading condition. For that, let us take R be the resultant load. For P1 and P2, lies at x1, from CG of column P1. Okay, right. My dear, here let me take loading system. Right. Here is one column load. Let us name it P1. Here is another column load. Let us name it, it is P2. Right. In between the distance, it is 5 meters. How much is it? 5 meters. Here, P1 and P2 are not equal. If P1 and P2 are equal, we can say directly CG will be exactly at the center of this distance, right? But P1 and P2 are not equal. For this case, From first principle, we have to find out. From first principle, we have to find out CG for these two loadings. Resultant load will be acting very close to P1 because P1 magnitude is higher. Okay, better I will indicate the resultant load R which is lying at a distance x1, right, at a distance x1. Then how do you find out this x1? Go to first principle, that is x1 equal to, my dear, P1 into 0 plus P2 into 5 upon P1 plus P2. P1 plus P2. Okay, right, where P1 is 2000, where it is 0 plus P2 is 1500 into 5 upon P1 plus P2. So, how much we are getting from this? In meters we can get it. 1500 into 5 divided by 2000 plus 1500. It will be 2.14. Only 2 decimal places. 2.14 meters. 2.14 meters. Okay. We have find out here CG of loading system. Now we have to find out CG of the trapezoidal footing. Let us take, my dear, CG of the trapezoidal footing. Trapezoidal footing. See here, it is a rough sketch I am taking. One side width will be 5 meters. The other side width will be 1.5 meter. Say it is 1.5 meters, right? I can say it is B equal to 1.5 meters. Let us say here it is 5 meters. Say it is A. A equal to, my dear, 5 meters. Clear? Right. Now it is the L. From here to here it is L. Okay. The columns will be there in the footing, will be like this. Okay, now where will be the CG of footing? No doubt, wherever more area will concentrate, the CG will be shifted towards that, right? The CG of trapezoidal footing lies at x2, lies at x2. From here it is x2. From here it is x2. Then how to find x2 here? My dear, we know the centroid formula for trapezoid, right? That is x2 is equal to a plus 2 times b upon a plus b into L by 3. L by 3. It is a centroid formula, right? Okay. My dear, A value how much? 5 plus 2 times B. B value is 1.5 meter upon A plus B. 5 plus B is 1.5 into L by 3. L by 3. Okay. Right. Here one point I would like to say, that is CG of the column and CG of the column. the distance whatever given previously 5 meters is this one. It is 5 meters, right? What I said, CG of column loadings and the CG of footing must be coincided. CG of column loading we find out from the centroid of column P1, correct na? But CG of footing we are taking with respect to the larger width of the footing from the extreme point we are taking. So, how much is it? It is 0.5 meter. It is 0.5 meter. Now, I have to add for x1, it is 0.5 meter by 2. So that both the CGs we can take with respect to extreme end. Is it clear? Right. Come on. From extreme end, CG of loading and CG of footing, is equated. Let us equate these two. That is x1 plus 0.5 meter by 2, right? x1 is taken with respect to, my dear, CG of column P1, but I want from extreme edge. That's why I have added this half of the column side, that is 0.5 meter by 2, which is equal to x2. In order to keep uniform stress beneath the footing, you must equate CG of column loadings and CG of the footing. Okay, what is the x1 you are getting? From this, x1 I am getting is 2.14 meter. It is 2.14 meter plus 0.5 by 2, which is equal to x2. How much is the x2 here? Let us simplify this. 5 plus 2 into 1.5, that is 3. 5 plus 3, 8 divided by 6.5 divided by 3. So, 0.41 times L. This one after simplification I am getting 0.41 times L. Okay. Only 2 digits I am taking after the point, 2 decimal places. Okay. It is 0.41 times L. I want L from this, that is 2.14 plus 0.5 by 2, that is 0.25 divided by 0.41. I am getting 5.829. Let us say L equal to 5.83. 5.83. 8 to 9 I am getting, but I am taking here 83 meters. It is a required answer. Length of the footing will be, my dear, 5.83 meters. Okay, right.